Whether you're a DIYer, a weekend woodworker, or someone who needs to cut something once a year, the miter saw is hands down one of the most useful tools you can own. But it can also be one of the most frustrating tools. Most people don't know how to set it up correctly. I know I didn't. This means costly mistakes, frustration, high blood pressure, the temptation to chuck it off the nearest bridge. Let's change that story today. New or used, there's a few things you gotta do before you fire it up to knock out that quick project. And seriously, don't let anybody talk you out of that 5-minute project. Those 2 hours could be the most exciting 5 days of your life. Full disclaimer before we dive into this is that every saw is obviously built a little bit differently. So make sure you reference your user manual before you dive into anything we're gonna talk about in today's video. But everything we're gonna be doing, going over this, getting it zeroed, is gonna be pretty much the same for every saw across the board. We're gonna start with the most important step, and that is unplug your saw. If you're not actually cutting with your saw, make sure it's unplugged. That's step one. Let's go on to step number two. Step two, we're gonna check the blade. This is a 80 tooth, 12-inch Diablo blade. It's an aftermarket blade. The blade that comes with the saw is, let me grab it quick. This baby right here. This is the blade that came with the saw. This is a 12-inch, 32 tooth blade. Just your basic, normally it says what it's for on the blade. General purpose, general use construction. I took this off almost immediately because I really wanted to get some better cuts. So I upgraded to the Diablo 80 tooth, 12-inch blade. This is for fine finish. Now this is great for cross cuts if you're, cutting hardwoods and things like that. The higher the tooth count though, the higher the friction on the wood and the harder the saw has to work. So you do have to slow down with these finer finished blades. Just swapping the blade out to a finer finished blade is going to drastically improve the cuts that you're making with this miter saw. If you already have a fine finished blade on it, like this one here, I've been using this for probably about a year. It's definitely due for a cleaning and a sharpening. But that's kind of the next tip here, is make sure that your blades are clean, that they're sharp. Check them regularly to make sure they're not getting too dull and you're not doing anything too dangerous. If you need to swap a blade out, I'm gonna go ahead and show you exactly how to do that right now. For reference, if you're wondering, this is the DeWalt dual bevel compound sliding miter saw, or the DWS 779. This is the 12-inch model. To swap the blades out, normally the saw will come with the tools you'll need. I think I lost my tool, so I'm just gonna use this Torx wrench here. So if I slide the blade guard up, you're gonna see this little bracket here. With this bolt, we're gonna take this bolt out, if I can get it loose. There we go, and this is just gonna allow us to slide this entire guard piece up so that I can get to the arbor down here and get the tool inside that to take the blade off. Once I get this bolt backed out enough, I can slide the whole blade guard system up and out of the way. Now the bolt to the blade arbor is available and ready for action. So on the other side of the blade, there is a little button that you push in, and that's going to lock the blade in place once you turn it. Right there, you can see now the blade's not turning at all. And that's gonna allow us to loosen this arbor bolt. In this case, righty-tighty and lefty-loosey does not apply. Right is to loosen it. So we're gonna pull down there, loosen it, back this out. Take this piece off, and now we can slide the blade off the arbor. To put your blade back on, you wanna make sure you put it on the right way. Normally there's arrows on the blade guard, which is really nice for reference, and arrows on the blade so that you line those up. The blade's always gonna spin down and away from you, or teeth facing down at the front of the blade and up at the back of the blade. That's how you know that your saw blade is going on the right direction. You're gonna slide it in, put it back on the arbor, put the washer back on. Normally, so that they don't come loose over time, the direction to tighten these are reversed. So I'm going to spin it to the left to tighten this back down. Once we get it finger tightened, we can take the Torx wrench, push down the button on the other side again, and tighten it down. Use your best judgment here. You want to be able to get it off again, but you also don't want the blade flying off. You do want to make sure the blade guard is pushed all the way down and seated to its original position. Tighten it down, make sure it's nice and snug. Then your blade guard should be able to freely go up and down. You want to make sure, test it out with the saw, make sure that everything is working properly. With the blade installed, let's move on to the next part.
Move on.
And that is the fence alignment. So you want to determine what kind of fence system that your saw has. This one is a single piece fence system. It's actually attached in the back here. You can see this. It's all one piece of metal straight through. So I can test it to see if these are lined up, which they are. They're dead on, thankfully, because I can't even adjust these separately. You can't adjust the whole thing left and right like this, but they're attached. The point of this whole part is to make sure that your back fence is completely aligned with each other. You'll see in some models that there's screws on the back of the fences or bolts. You can loosen those and then adjust each one individually. I don't have to mess with this one because it's one solid fence like I just said before. So this is a really easy step for me. But again, check your saw's manual and the back of your saw to see if you have to do any adjustment. This is definitely a step you do not want to skip. You have to make sure this back fence is lined up. If it's not, you're going to get inaccurate cuts every single time, even if your blade is lined up. The back fence is just as important as that. So we're gonna check the back fence. Once we've ensured that there's no gaps anywhere along here on either side and it's perfectly lined up, we're ready to move on to the next step. Before we start aligning the blade to the fence, we wanna make sure that the saw is locked to the 0-degree detent so that we actually get our 90-degree angle up top. So what I'm gonna do now, again, the saw is still unplugged. We're going to drop the saw blade down and lock it down, because what we need to do is make sure that this angle right here is 90 degrees. If this is off by just a little bit, this is where a lot of the problems are gonna happen and you're not gonna get those cuts lining up. And when you go to assemble, it's gonna be very frustrating. So we need to make sure that this is a perfect 90. And I have not zeroed this saw for several months, so there is a chance that this saw is off, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a combo square, a speed square, whatever you have. I'd like to use the most precise instruments that I have for this step. And we're going to slide it up against the back of the fence, right? Just like that. And then the teeth of every saw blade are gonna stick out further than the blade, the disc of the blade itself. So when we're doing all of this, we have to make sure that we're not putting whatever instrument we're using to check the 90 up against a tooth and then the disc. It's gonna be wrong every time. You're gonna get inaccurate measurements. So when we slide this up, pushing, make sure it's firm up against the back fence. And then when we touch the blade, we just wanna barely touch it. We don't wanna push it because the blade can actually bend and that's not gonna give us a good read either. So we wanna just slide this barely up against the blade. Sometimes machinist squares are actually easier than using these combo squares like this, but in any case, we can actually slide the saw forward a little bit if you have a sliding miter saw, and that way we're not getting any teeth against the ruler here. So again, firm up against the back, we're gonna slide it and just barely touch the saw. You can see here that there is a giant shadow blocking your views.
White shadow.
So let me see if I can brighten that up a little bit. Here we go. So it's kind of hard to see. Hopefully it shows up on camera, but I have some great contact along the whole saw. I don't see any gaps. There's not contact in the back and a gap in the front, or a gap in the front and contact in the back. That looks really good. We're right at 90 there. Let me show you what it looks like when it's not aligned. This is kind of an extreme example, but you can see here when I slide it up against the saw, we have good contact in the back, but up in the front, there's a huge gap. So to fix that, what we would need to do is loosen the bolts on the plate down here where the detents are. So I'll show you that now. So down here below the base, we have this half circle with all of the angle measurements etched on this piece of metal here. And you can see there's some detents. There's a 15-degree detent, 0 degree, 10 degree, 15, 20, and all around the other side. There's even one of the 31.6, 35.3. Those are popular angles for those trim cuts, like if you're doing crown molding and things like that. These detents though are what determine where the saw locks in place. So we have it set to 0, right? 0 degrees, which would mean that, we have a 90 degree up here. With it locked in at 0, our read looks like we're right on, but we slide this up to the saw blade and it's not on at all. We have a huge gap in the front, but we are making contact in the back, and we're not bending the blade at all, just kissing the blade right there. So we have to loosen this plate down here. Now, this saw has 4 screws, 1, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. So we're just going to loosen these screws down here, and that's going to allow us, without unlocking the saw, right? This is just moving the base, but not the detent plate. If I lock it into 0 and I slide the whole thing now, not pushing the release, it's gonna slide the whole detent plate too. See that whole thing moving just like that? And that's gonna change the angle with this fence and the blade. So now we're going to use as much finesse as we can muster. Make sure we're up against the back. Also make sure there's no sawdust or anything weird. In this back crevice here, that's gonna also make your read inaccurate. We're gonna slide this up against the blade, and we're going to tap the front of the saw here until we get good contact with the entire ruler, just like that. Maybe a little more. Maybe even go the other way. So you can see here I went too far. Now we have contact in the front up here, but back here there's a huge gap. So we went too far, we're gonna have to go back the other way. Just may seem tedious, but this is the kind of stuff that's going to greatly improve your builds. All right, that looks really good right there. We have 0 gaps. We have good contact the entire way. So now we can go back and lock down the D10 plate. All right, we should have our saw blade at a perfect 90 with the back fence here, but we're gonna go ahead and do a test cut. Now, a wider board is gonna be better. The more surface you have to measure, the more data you're gonna get from it. You do wanna make sure that the back edge that is going up against the fence is straight. If you don't have a good starting point, we're not gonna get a good read. So we're gonna plug the saw back in, unlock everything, make sure it's fully functioning, and then we're going to put our piece up. And we're just gonna cut a little sliver off the end here. That way we can use our combo square and check to see if we're at 90. To make it easier on yourself, you can put a bright light behind the board and the speed square. As you can see here, it's still pretty far off. I'm not really sure how that's happening, but this is the part you actually really have to pay attention to. So putting it right up against the back and making sure it's not shifting on the square side of it. It's going to drop it right down on the top. We have a big gap still. You can see no light on the right side there, but a big gap on the left. So we're going to adjust the saw accordingly and make another cut and try again. Looking at this piece now, it looks like we have just a little bit more on the left side than the right. I'm going to go ahead and make one more quick adjustment and try this again. Just a little bit. All right, let's see if we got it this time. That looks pretty dang good to me. No light on the side of the square and no light on the top of the square. So we have a good 90. That didn't take too long. Basically got it on the first try.
First try.
So we have a good 90 from the fence to the blade this way. Now we need a good 90 up and down. Normally saws will have a plate on the back here that tell you what angle or bevel your saw is at. The 0 degree means that it's perfectly straight up and down, meaning you have a good 90-degree angle from the base plate of your saw to the blade. Let's go ahead and test that. A really simple and easy way to test this is using a digital angle gauge. Simply just set it on the base of your saw. You're going to hit the 0 button, hit it 0, so we should read 0.0 on the base of your saw. You're gonna then pick it up and stick it directly on top on the blade right there. So you can see here, this says 89.9. It's close, but we're not quite there. Since this is a dual bevel saw, there's a little switch here in the back that allows it to basically not go the other direction. This stop right here can be adjusted so that it's right at 90 degrees. If I unlock this like this, that's going to allow it to tilt all the way the other way. So in order to get that stop engaged to get our 90-degree adjusted, we have to make sure that the switch is in the correct position, and that will make sure that it hits that stop and we can make the adjustment. The adjustment bolt for the 90-degree stop is right here. So all we need to do is grab some pliers or a wrench, and then with our angle gauge on the blade, we can twist the bolt left or right depending on which way we need to bring it back until we get that angle gauge reading right at 90 degrees. So I twisted the bolt and, oh, now it changed on me. Right here at 90 degrees, we're gonna take angle gauge off. With everything, you wanna make sure you do test cuts to make sure that your saw is actually cutting the way the angle gauge is reading. If you don't have an angle gauge, no worries. You can do the exact same thing with a speed square or a combo square in this case is what I'm gonna use. What we're gonna do is just lock the blade back down. We're just gonna put this up against the base, making sure that we're missing the teeth of the saw. Now the best way to check 90 degrees on this is just to grab a flashlight, use your phone, and we're just going to put it behind the blade and see if there's any light coming through. There is no light coming through anywhere, so this blade is perfectly up and down. Really happy with that. If you have light coming through the top or coming through the bottom like that, that just lets you know that you gotta adjust the bevel and the stop. But you have it seated right down flat, slid up against the blade, and it's not touching any of the teeth. Check it with a flashlight from the back, and that looks really good right there. I'm going to use a thicker piece of stock here so that I can have a little bit more data to go off of when I use my speed square. We do the exact same thing we did before, slide our combo square down, check for light. That looks pretty good right there. Kind of hard to do this and keep the camera, keep it in frame. That looks really good right there. No light coming up at all. And then the back side, obviously, we know that that's square because we just did that. So both angles, up and down, side to side, looking really good. And last but not least, we have to check the 45-degree bevel of this and make sure that the saw is actually, let me unplug it first. There we go. We have to make sure the saw is actually stopping at 45 degrees when it's beveled all the way down. You can use the digital angle gauge again if you'd like. I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate this by using the mini combo square that I have. You can also just use any combo square handle because the handle itself has that back angle, and that's the 45-degree angle, so we can use that to check the angle of the saw blade. You might not be able to lock your blade all the way down. You might just have to freehand this, depending on how small of a 45-degree measuring tool you have. But you're gonna use the same method we used when we were squaring the blade up and down. So you're just gonna slide that handle up against the blade and then use a flashlight behind it to see if there's any gaps. If there are light gaps on the top or the bottom, you're gonna need to adjust the bevel bolts on the back of the saw, or sometimes they're on the top underneath the plate. On my saw, the adjustment bolts are on the back underside of the saw, so I'm just going to turn each one individually, both on the left and the right. I do have to measure the right side again. I'm just going to twist that bolt either way, depending on where I need to adjust it, until I see no light gaps on the 45-degree handle. I'm then going to make a test cut, double check it to make sure we are at 45 degrees. And then I'm gonna repeat the exact same process for the other side, switching the angle of the blade all the way to the other 45-degree bevel and doing the exact same thing. And the reveal to see how we did. No light, that looks really good to me, guys, especially with a contractor saw. I don't think I can get it much better than that. Now after making all those adjustments, if you bring your saw back up to 0 and look at the needle, the indicator needle here on this plate, you might see that it's not pointing directly at 0. So I'm gonna lock the saw back down, and then we can just remove the screws on this plate here and just slightly slide the plate over, or sometimes they even let you make adjustments to each individual needle on both sides. So locking my saw back to 0 and then adjusting those needles to be right on 0 on both sides, that should give me a good reading for any angle that I'm doing after that. The first time you do this, it can be kind of annoying and tedious, might take a couple hours. That's totally fine. Don't do this on a bad day. Do this on a good day so that you do a good job, you get your saw zeroed in, and I promise you, it's totally worth it. Every project that you do after this is going to be so much easier to assemble. What are you waiting for? Get started, get out in the shop. It's time to go build something cool. So check out the link in the description. I have a ton of free build plans there. Go check them out. They all have free tutorial videos too on how to build them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hype, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.